Just a couple of guys, a couple of microphones, and a heck of a lot of know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee, alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know show. Ready to go. Let's go. Let's get it. Listen, what's happening tomorrow? Finally, football is back. That's right. Thursday night. The Bills versus the Rams. It's going to be insane. What a kickoff game.
What a game, man. And this is like what could have been the Super Bowl last year and what some people might think is the Super Bowl this year. So,
I mean, it could
we get a
be.
preview of it. Just like that, week one.
Let's see. It's two big studs duking it out tomorrow.
Right. Oh, we've already got some people in the house.
John. What's going on, John? Welcome to the show, buddy.
All right.
And he says, "Skol,
Vikings." A lot of people think that Kirk Cousins is going to have a big year this year.
He could.
I mean, he kind of needs to, I think, at this point.
I mean, here's the thing.
He's been decent, though, even like last year did well.
Exactly. Like, he's been a good quarterback. But people always dog him, thinking that he's trash and thinking that he's not good enough to be a starter. But maybe he can prove all the doubters wrong this year because it is a contract year. He's got to do something, magnificent for the Vikings.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like he was added on to get him that further again because they haven't been to the championship game since they had Case Keenum. And this the reason that they gave him all that money is to go further, and they haven't. New offense, great weapons, young O-line, homegrown talent. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something new, something fresh.
Hope it all blends well together, you know what I mean? Because and it's the other thing, too, is it's a new philosophy for not only just the Vikings, but also for Kirk Cousins. Because this is kind of like almost kind of in his niche, you know what I mean? To where he might be able to take that extra step forward and to become an even better quarterback than what he already has been. So, let's see what the Vikings can do. I mean, they have weapons. We already know their offense is pretty darn good. Let's see if the defense can match that.
Absolutely. We're excited for this season. We got a lot to talk about. First, when we get to it, I want to let you guys know, too, you got to go to repsports.com and get your raise. There's our promo code. When you go to get your raise, order, the mixer, whatever you guys want there. They have cakes, too, whatever you want, the protein cakes. They have the drinks, but we love them. The energy drinks raise them up right there. When you go to cash out, you'll get your special discount just from us at repsports.com. Joe, so some news, some signings going on. It's funny when they make a headline about, Joe Flacco is named the starter for the Jets. Like, whoa.
Oh, Mitch Trubisky's the starter of the Steelers.
Blows my mind, man. Yeah, it's like, I didn't really, okay, it's really pointing the needle. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to talk about some interesting stuff here. The college football committee now, they have now agreed to a 12-team playoff situation that's going to happen in the future. A lot of people have been clamoring for this, especially when you see these teams in the college game. You see it too, all these undefeated records and maybe one loss too. So it's all debatable who gets in, who gets out, strength of schedule, what schools play what, and lollipop ones and all that nonsense. Exactly. They're trying to put all this to rest down because that's what I mean. It's like we put them in there and then go toe-to-toe, and then we'll see who comes out of the whole thing.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is on top of all that, like the board, yes, they did, in fact, vote to have a 12-team playoff, and it looks like it's going to happen around 2026 is the projected year that they're going to do this. I think it's great for college football. I think this is much needed. When you only have a 4-game playoff, like, really, what kind of a playoff is that? You know what I mean? It's not really a playoff at all. It's like... Yeah. A couple of games and then the championship.
And then they put weeks in between everything. It's like, dude, you're waiting.
Yeah. So. All the sponsorship money that's all involved in everything. It all dictates a lot. But a 12-team playoff, now you're starting to branch out. And look there's a ton, and I mean a ton of colleges out there that are all trying to compete for that national championship. But this gives a few more the opportunity to not only make the playoffs, but now prove themselves otherwise. We've seen teams like I remember there was it wasn't like one of those high, caliber type of colleges, but it was more like Utah. Utah had a undefeated season before, but because it was only a 4-game playoff, they weren't allowed to play in the playoffs. They were in that mix. They were in the top 10, and I think that would have been one of those exciting teams that maybe, who knows, maybe they pull off a couple upsets. You know what I mean? But that would have been fun to see. Now that it's expanded to 12 teams, this gives a lot more teams a chance to not only prove themselves in the playoff, but also, who knows, now there could be a ton of upsets in college. And that's what, in college football, and that's what makes, when you think about college basketball and how exciting the bracket is in March Madness, and how, oh my God, an upset happened here. We didn't see that coming. And oh my God, number 2 got knocked off by Gonzaga. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much excitement. Now you're bringing that to college football by expanding this to 12 teams. This could be huge for college football.
Yeah, and that's what you kind of, I don't think there's going to be so much of upsets like the college thing. Because, again, they have so many teams in that college basketball tournament that they finally break it down to their finals. You're going to get small schools all in there, and they take them from all, ones like Albany and stuff.
Listen, it gives them a shot.
12 definitely, it makes it a closer type of pack where you get to see some of these other teams like Michigan finally get back into this or something like that. And that helps that school, because when was the last time they had even a sniff at a championship?
Right.
This past season was kind of a make it or break it, I think, for their head coach. So, I mean, they had to do something well there. So, we'll see.
And you do think about these other colleges now, that now they get this opportunity to not just make the playoffs, but now they could even prove themselves even more. Like all the Alabamas that are out there, the Georgias that are out there, they almost seem like they're unbeatable. But what's to say a team that comes in hot and heavy and they happen to knock them off? Look at what just happened this past college football weekend. Florida State, who I love Florida State. And you know this, Jim. And I've been a Florida State fan ever since I was young enough to watch football, or old enough to watch football, right? To understand it.
That is one big pile of shit.
But Florida State, I thought for sure was another going to be another crappy year for them. But they played LSU in their first game and beat LSU. That is a humongous accomplishment already.
Absolutely.
So if they can continue that success, maybe they could be one of those 12 teams now.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of people up here lighting up the chats. We love it. So make sure if you guys have a comment, let us know.
Let's go.
12-team expansion only means the networks and conference make more money. Yeah, exactly. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, it's always going to mean that. But at least this is also giving opportunity to other teams that otherwise wouldn't even be able to go for the national championship.
No Donnie's in the house with us tonight, too.
What's up, No Donnie? Hey, he says, go Cardinals.
Yeah,
that's a guy. Red Sea, right?
We were thinking about that. We're talking Nfc West or NFC West in a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
Who else do? Somebody said Joe.
Demir Nader. Yeah, he just said, Joe, fire. Thanks, appreciate it. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's something to look forward to. But 2026, we got to wait for that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy, though. I mean, why can't they just figure that out? Like, just to do it next, like, what do they need to figure out? Like, what stadiums
details
are going to hold what? Or what? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because here's the thing is you're going to have to, they gotta figure out.
Get rid of some of the bowl games, man. I'm tired
that's
of the
never
bowl
going
game.
away.
Well, did you put the playoff game as the bowl game? Isn't that what they do? Like,
no, that's sponsorship money. Every bowl game is part of college. Like, that's extra money that they get.
Yeah.
It's never going away.
Demir says Packers. Fire. Boom. There you go.
Oh, Packer man.
There you go. We'll see. They're one of the teams to beat this year. Yeah, so I mean that's something interesting to look forward to in 2026. Here we go. They're commenting amongst themselves. No defense, no skill players. Rodgers is not Brady. Boom. Oh man, wow. Shots fired. I
don't know about that, John.
Oh man.
I don't know. You're kind of stirring the pot there,
and nobody actually cares about the extra teams. Can the extra teams create more games for big schools? And if not, it's worth nothing. All right. No,
I'm not sure what he's trying to get at.
Well, I think they do. I don't think he's getting like. It's not like extra teams like college basketball. I think he's talking about, but that's what I mean. If you get extra teams there, who was on the fringe that was just missing, like Ohio State, Michigan, and Ohio State again, maybe for something that means like a championship then too.
But this is
just
that's
out of
the whole thing.
The cusp of everything. You're not getting your Georgia, your Clemson, and your Alabama or whatever.
This is the thing. The point is competition. This is what everybody has been wanting in college footballs. Now by expanding that playoff spectrum, now you're allowing the teams that were kind of left out of the top four. Now they have a chance to prove and beat those top schools that were in the core four. So I think this is great for college football. I think this is going to be awesome by expanding the playoffs. I think this is going to be good. And it's going to, this is going to happen. There's going to be upsets now. There's going to be one or maybe two upset somewhere in the playoffs, and you're going to be like, oh, never saw that coming. You know what I mean? So, and this could be changing of the guard for some schools, like an Alabama, who they got beat by Georgia. You know what I mean? Proving Georgia was now the number one, college. And then coming into the season, Georgia looks really extremely tough again. What's to say that maybe Georgia and Alabama end up going against each other in the first round? You get rid of one of those powerhouse schools, and now it's like anything can happen. You know what I mean? Maybe a school sneaks in that you didn't see.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep a tight look at that one. But some other news besides, signings and things that happened this past couple days again, like Dawson Knox gets an extension. I think they kind of paid a little too much for him I mean, he's good, but I mean, to pay a tight end like that, but I don't think he's like one of, the top echelon guys, especially with the way that team is with some of the guys you have to probably take care of down the line.
Well, I mean, you look at what he's making, it's not crazy. I mean, when you pay him about $50 million for 4 years, I think that meets the criteria for him. Look at what he did last year. It was crazy. Went off. You know what I mean? Started to make a name for himself last year, and the Bills recognize that and saying, you know what? We don't want to lose him, after this year. So let's lock him up. Let's keep him. Josh, he's got great chemistry already with Allen, so why disrupt that?
Yeah. So Joe found something here about the NFL now. Since the issue with the joint practices getting a little too crazy here with the extracurricular activities, and I think now since the fact that we saw the images, here you go, of Aaron Donald here swinging helmets around at people. I've had Bengals players and stuff like that. Now, the NFL absolutely is considering taking jurisdiction over discipline of players who engage in misconduct during joint practices now. So now the NFL has taken notice to this, maybe. Because, again, if they wanted to do something about this, why couldn't they even do something now? I mean, they've laid down punishments on people when there was no other prior jurisdiction or even like set rules. They just threw it out there, and then eventually they catch up and make a rule. But now they see this, and they didn't even come out and say they were going to do anything with Aaron Donald at all. And now they're saying we'll talk about it this next coming winter, and then maybe we'll do something.
Their next meeting, so it's
going to be the winter meeting, so it's going to be later on.
It's mid-year. So they usually have a league meeting in the mid-year, and that's when they're going to discuss it and the parameters of what those punishments or fines or whatever will be. I don't think it needs to be anything kind of official like what they're trying to make it all about. Listen, they don't waste no time to punish or suspend anybody when they go to court, because that seems to be the thing. Is like as soon as you go to court, like you're going to get a suspension somehow. But now it's like, okay, now let's take a shot at, okay, we see these scrimmages happening. We see a lot of fights breaking out, guys swinging helmets and stuff like that. Now, I think this is kind of the NFL getting a little bit too hands-on. Listen, fights like this in scrimmages every single year, every single offseason, this happens to every single team. So why all of a sudden now they're like, oh, well, we've seen the skirmish with the Rams and Bengals. We've seen the skirmish with the Patriots and Raiders. We've seen the skirmish with the Giants and whoever. Like, now we're going to, all of a sudden, now it's a big enough deal to make it, like, now we're going to dole out punishments for it. I think they're kind of overstepping their boundaries a little too much.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice.
And that's what we're
not
talking
a game,
about, Alan.
not a
Tell
game,
him. Tell him,
not a
Alan.
game. We talking about practice.
Right.
Yeah, there
Tell
you
him.
go.
And
John
that's the
Felton
thing,
had us on that one, too.
Is if you want to, like, I would understand if you want to dole out a punishment for a guy swinging a helmet and trying to hit people.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay with that, because now you're using the helmet as a weapon. But if it's just guys pushing each other, taking swing, listen, if you're trying to swing a punch at someone wearing a helmet, you're a retard.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. What are you doing? You're going to break your hand, especially if you're a receiver. That's your bread and butter. Why would you injure yourself? So, I mean, that's one thing that I will say about that. I think the NFL needs to kind of not go all in on this and make this a bigger deal than what it is. If you want to suspend or fine or just fine someone that's using like maybe a weapon, that's okay with me. But if it's going to be more than that, like, oh, well, they got into a fight. Okay, that means you and you are suspended for week 1. You both get a $50,000 fine, and then it's going to happen like more. You're going to see tons of punishments being doled out before even season starts. It's a little crazy.
Well, I guess it's like, I don't know though. I understand what is really happening in these practices. A guy gets hit maybe a little too late. I understand like the last bench brawling we kind of saw in the offseason this year was when Christian McCaffrey got hit late, coming to the sidelines and stuff, and that started something with the Panthers. But I mean, maybe that's what it is. What, protect your guys, make sure that guy doesn't get injured and things like that. So, and that's what's happening in these things. So then, I think you have to then maybe put these fines down on these guys to maybe stop some of this stuff, because the reason that you're trying to tell us that you don't want more of these padded practices or that you don't want these preseason games is to try and care about the health of the players. And this is players even saying this. This is the things they're trying to agree to in the CBA. But yet in those same practices or the joint practices now, they're trying to injure the other players so they, aren't being able to make it for the season. And I understand you try and get an edge wherever you can and stuff. But it's got to stop to an extent, and especially when it gets crazy like this to when they're swinging helmets. I mean, we saw the last time when Mason Rudolph almost got his head taken off by Myles Garrett there with a swinging helmet.
That was
in
regular season.
Should have been laid down right there during the regular season. Yeah, I mean that should have been laid out right there. That
and they did.
This is,
they took care of that.
Well, they should have just reverted back to that thing right here.
But this happens all the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, why all of a sudden you're making it a big deal now?
Well, probably just because it's Aaron Donald. It's the bigger news. That's why it's a big deal now.
I mean, apples and oranges. Like, because to be honest, like all kinds of big names this has been happening with. And now all of a sudden now they're putting their foot down and saying, oh, we need to do something about this. But you've known this for years. Like, this isn't a secret. This happens every single offseason. Why all of a sudden now? I just think that, maybe they're going a little too far into it. This happens. Look at every guy on every single roster. They're fighting for position. Obviously, the cornerstones of the team are set.
Yep.
But the guys that are fighting their way to make the roster, that's where a lot of these fights end up breaking out, because they're trying to prove themselves. And sometimes, they may go a little past the whistle, to show that they can be physical and they can be aggressive and they can be, that intense guy that the team might need. But, come on, NFL. Like, it all gets broken up, eventually. Like, and no one to this day, no one's been like, super, nothing's been, incredibly that's gone wrong. Nothing's been such an incident that, oh, a guy's head got bashed in and now he's got a concussion, or a guy, he got hit with the helmet and now he's bleeding out of his ear. Like, nothing has been that crazy just yet. And maybe that's why they're starting to come in now on all this, but don't go too far with it, I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If it's egregious and, where a guy's using a weapon, swinging it around to try to hit people, okay, fine. Then maybe you have a point. Maybe you give the guy a fine, maybe a suspension, depending on the severity of it. But other than that, just let it be. It's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what is part of it is what's part of my life. It's Mohawk Honda, Joe, and how much I love Mohawk Honda. You're talking about finding people and hits and everything else. I want to talk about the good stuff. I want to tell you about my friends at Mohawk Honda there on Freeman's Ridge Road. Joe, they go out of their way to please you. That's their slogan, and it is true. From the day you walk onto the lot to the day you walk out with your brand new car, or even you get your car serviced, Mohawk Honda will take care of you. They take you in just like family members. And Mohawk Honda, the team, they'll find everything that you're looking for by searching their lot, the entire eastern seaboard if they have to, just for you. But the real opportunity for you right now is to get trading in your car or sell your vehicle to them, because you got the Kelly Blue Book instant cash offer still for them. And the supply chain is still facing some challenges out there. So it creates a good opportunity to sell your car to them, because if they need a ride like that, something that they might be looking for, they're going to pay you that extra dollars due for it. And as always, the team at Mohawk Honda will make the buying and selling experience very easy for you. At Mohawk Honda, Freeman's Ridge Road in Scotia, they want to buy your car, and they always go out of their way to please you.
All right, so we got a little bit of an issue in the chat.
What's up? I didn't want to get through that whole
Viking
thing.
versus Packer fan
I didn't want to start just.
It's a bout going
then
on.
I felt like it was like a verbal fight, and I'm like, down in this corner, he's coming out with this swing, and no, he's going your turns with this.
Demir's the Packer fan, and then you got John as the Viking fan, and wow, what a great show for them to both chime in on just going after it. It's hilarious. They're both going after each other's teams.
The receiving cores and stuff like
that.
that.
Aaron Rodgers isn't that going to be that good this year because Adams isn't there, and
well, now you will see. We'll see what he can do with it.
Here's the thing. And this is what's going to show everybody how good Rodgers actually is because, he can even do it without Adams. Don't get me wrong. Adams is definitely one of the best receivers in the league and has helped Rodgers out immensely. But Rodgers is a really good quarterback. He is seen as an elite quarterback in this league, and he's going to show exactly what he's able to do with even if you don't think they have receivers.
Well, I think, too, what helps feed into it is I think there's still a lot of people out there that don't like Aaron Rodgers, like, as a person.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And the fact that he is quick to be out in the media and verbally saying, oh, these guys are messing up, they're running the wrong routes, I
take drugs.
These guys suck. You never really heard, like, a Tom Brady say anything about that. And he hasn't had really a lot of great receivers as it is. You had some great star guys. Randy Moss was there at times for him. But, besides that, a lot of homegrown talent that they got, or these guys that were cut on waivers from other teams that they brought in and turned into something. Julian Edelman, a quarterback turned wide receiver. Wes Welker dropped by the Dolphins, and they picked him up and turned him into a good receiver. Again, Deion Branch, he tried to leave and be on his own and he went to, I think it was Seattle Seahawks, and then didn't do well, returned back to the Patriots, and was doing well again.
Yeah.
So you see what difference a quarterback can make for some of these guys.
But just to say, so what the Patriots were great at doing is finding certain talent that would fit their offense and give them an opportunity. And that's all they did. And it turned, those players were actually always that good. But they were unknowns. So the Patriots just gave him an opportunity, and they just ran with it. Like, don't get me wrong, Brady is a really good quarterback, but those guys didn't have big names, so people were like, Brady made them. No, I think it worked hand in hand.
He says even name a receiver that did anything after Rodgers when they left or something, but a lot of those guys, they even cut loose because they already knew they were trending downwards. Randall Cobb,
look at
Jordy
Nelson. Yeah.
He went to your Raiders again, wasn't even doing it, but it was already past his prime.
He was past his prime, and look at every time when you take a receiver or anybody from a different team and you put them on, let's just say, like, you go from the Packers to the Bears, right? Different offense, different way of thinking, different philosophy, what they want you to do, how they want you to play the position. So there's a lot of variables, too, that go into it when you change teams. And you look at Jordy Nelson, like you brought him up when he went to the Raiders. At first, he was like, oh, he's okay, I guess. And then it was just like, where's the explosion that he used to have? Where's the top-end speed? Because it was gone after that injury, and he was never the same again. So when that does transpire, when a guy leaves and goes to somewhere else, it doesn't always mean that he's going to have further success.
Yeah, and it's even just whether the relationship you have with the guys. Look at Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham started off well as a tight end with the Saints, did well, moved on to other teams. Seattle did terrible, but then even
was non-existent.
And then you see him move on again and not really getting back to what he was ever, really.
No. And that's why
dropped a lot of easy balls, but then made some spectacular catches,
And then you go back to him when he was in his prime with the Saints. It was that offense that kind of helped him grow into that huge name that he became. And they were, because he was so versatile, they could put him in the slot, keep him at tight end, move him around like a chess piece a little bit. And then when he goes to Seattle, a different team, I'm surprised that Seattle didn't use him. You know what I mean? They just didn't. And then when they did, it was just like it wasn't the primary focus wasn't him anymore, like it was in New Orleans. So then his name took a hit. His performance took a hit. You know what I mean? He wasn't being used like that way anymore. He's being used more of a blocker than anything. So like it does matter when you change a team and you go to a different offense and what they want you to do. And that's why he kind of fell off the cliff. Like no one's ever heard of him anymore. Jimmy Graham used to be a stud in New Orleans, and then anywhere else he kind of wasn't the primary guy anymore. So that happens too.
Yeah, I mean, they got quite the debate out there. So he goes, Jimmy was dead when he got to Seattle.
That's what we're saying.
We even said it. We called it that time. Again, that was a place that was kind of a tight end killer there. They never utilized the tight ends at all. They made some big plays with some of them there. I mean, when Disley was there and stuff like that, key moments, they did something, but they nobody ever flourished as a tight end there like, they do in the Patriots schemes and things like that. But hey, that's a great topic. You guys are out there debating in the chat. We really appreciate it out there. But Joe, again, we just got it set up here. This is our last week of our predictions of the divisions and stuff. We are on to the AFC West, and then we're gonna rock and roll right into the beginning of the season, right? The picks and everything. Man, the season's starting.
Oh boy!
And again, dude, it starts tomorrow's my birthday. You know what I mean? It starts on the day of my birthday.
Everybody in the chat, wish Jimmy a happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Thanks. And that's what I mean. So then I gotta, I'm gonna do something for my birthday and stuff. But then again, football's that day too. It starts. It's the thing I'm torn with all the time. It was either the first day of school when I'm younger, and now it's the first day of football is on my birthday and stuff. It's crazy. So it ends up being a crazy day. So luckily we had the show here today. But I'm excited. It's gonna be a great game. The Bills and the Rams. So it's going to be an interesting season with the shakeups that people have had too, especially this AFC West division that we're going to look at first here. This year has been a little different with the preview. We now have Godzilla Media's other talents that belong to Godzilla Media. We just joined this media group a year or so ago. So we're going to share you their picks for the division.
What do they got?
And then we're going to take a look at what we got and see where we compare. But here, let's take a look at him here. Sean Martin, he's got the Raiders. He's a Raiders fan, though, too. He's got the Raiders there at number 1, then the Chargers, then the Chiefs, and then the Broncos. One thing I'm noticing here is a trend. I've seen the Chiefs and the Broncos are at the bottom of this division here for a lot of people here. And then now Brian Katie's got the Chargers, then the Raiders, and then Gaz has now also got the Raiders and then the Chargers too as well. So some people here, these guys are starting to believe in your Raiders, it seems like. I thought maybe Sean was just doing it because he's a homer.
He's a Raider fan.
But a lot of the narrative that I'm even hearing now is like people super high on the Chargers. They say, now this is Justin Herbert's year. And the Chargers are going to do it this year if they stay healthy. And again, and then now the Chiefs, because of the things that they've lost, they lose Tyreek Hill, they lose Tyrann Mathieu in the back end too. Yeah, that there's going to be a little bit of a slump here, especially with the way their schedule is going to be and the way how tight this division is. But it's funny too how even despite all this and how people were high on Russell Wilson going to the Broncos, that they still got them at the bottom of this division.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing is everybody was hyping Denver up. Everybody. As soon as they got Russell Wilson, like, Denver's going to win the division. There's no way to go about it. It's got to be Denver or nothing. And Russell Wilson's going to bring them there. That's all they've been missing as a quarterback. And, yeah, those points are true to a certain standard here. Have they been missing a quarterback to help with the receivers that they have, the young talent that they have? Absolutely. But where else did they get better? Where else did they get better? Their offensive line is still very much the same, average at best. They still have Jerry Jeudy. They still have Cortland Sutton. Now, Cortland Sutton had a really good year last year until he got injured. He's coming back from a major injury. Jerry Jeudy got banged up last year. Now he's back healthy once again. So my thing is more than anything is, how healthy can this offense sustain it? Can they go all year and stay healthy and work with Russell Wilson? Will they have enough protection for Russell Wilson? Unlike in Seattle. You know what I mean? He got hit like 40 plus times, something crazy like that of quarterback hits and pressures. I mean,
per year.
Yeah. Per year. It mounts up. It ends up taking a toll on his body. So, I mean, that's where like my big question marks are. And then they always point to the defense, right? Oh, Vic Fangio's defense, and they're going to come back and they're going to be one of those top 10 defense. Wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but Vic Fangio is no longer a coach there, correct? Yeah. So he is not running the defense, and it's a different defense. So what's to say that the same personnel doesn't fit exactly into this new defense, or communication-wise, they're a little confused at times in a hurry up, pressure situation where they're going to screw up a lot more. So, I mean, until we actually see them play like for real in the regular season, I'm still iffy on the Broncos.
All right. Well, let's see how iffy you are on the Broncos here. Let's take a look at your AFC West here picks.
Yes,
here,
sir.
Joe.
And I have Chargers on top, Raiders second, Chiefs third, Broncos at the bottom. And because I have a lot of questions with the Broncos, I also have questions about the Chiefs. People want to say, oh, well, the Chiefs have been winning the division, so they should win it again this year. Well, a couple of things that have changed for the Kansas City Chiefs that kind of bother me in terms of them returning on top of the division is they lost their most impactful and just hella fast wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, who was not only explosive, but actually bailed out Patrick Mahomes at times when the play broke down. And then also on the defensive side, everyone's like, oh, well, their defense is going to be good, right? Okay. Tyrann Mathieu, who was not only the captain on the back end of that defense, got everybody in place, always made sure had great communication with everybody, and the defense ran extremely well with him. He's no longer there. They lose the backbone of their defense, and now they replace him with the guy by the name of Justin Reed, who came over from the Texans. He's not the same guy as Tyrann Mathieu. So I have some question marks on the back end of that defense. Are they even going to be able to compete with teams that have a high-powered offense in the passing game? Are they going to be able to slow them down or stop them? And then, and then offensively, like, I still got questions. Like, Juju is not the answer. He's not going to beat anybody deep. He's not going to surprise nobody. So he's more of a possession receiver. So because of those question marks, that's why I got the Chiefs down in the third spot. And then the Raiders at second. And I'll explain. It's not that I don't think the Raiders can't win the division. It's the fact that it's a new coaching staff altogether. It's a new offense. It's a new defense. And there's a lot of new players playing for the first time together on this team. That, to me, doesn't always, represent success in the regular season. So, I think they've gotten definitely better in terms of talent on the roster. Can they put it all together and get that chemistry flowing? And can the O-line hold up? That's been the biggest question mark for the Raiders. So, no matter who's out there on week one as their starting offensive line, can they protect Derek Carr long enough so he can get rid of the ball to one of his vast weapons out there on the field? And that's why I have him as second, because there's still some question marks. The defense is going to be different. And then the Chargers on top. I mean, the Chargers roster-wise, it doesn't look like they have too many weaknesses. They're pretty solid up and down the roster. Justin Herbert, we've seen what he can do in 2 years, and it looks like he's still trending upwards, going into this season. So the offense should be kind of like the Raiders. They're going to be like that kind of, but I will say this, the Chargers definitely have a better offensive line than the Raiders, and their defense they have a second year under their belt in the same defense. So that's why I have the Chargers edging the Raiders in the division.
All right. Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be a tough division either way. Like, I don't even see a lot of these teams running away with a lot of, like a big record, like a lead, 12
like
and
a big,
something even
like
that.
a big lead.
I think it's going to be close because again they've got to all play each other twice, and the teams that they're playing, like the Chiefs, the Colts, they're playing. Who else was the other one? It's the Titans. Things like that. All playoff teams still. And then they got to play each other again. So it's going to be pretty crazy, knockout, drag out. Mine, I went a little out here on this one. I'm kind of playing spoiler on this whole thing. Let's see what happens. I'm reaching, but I don't know. I got a feeling here. So this is what I'm doing for mine. This is what I got here. I got the Raiders at the top. I got the Chiefs second. Then I've got the Chargers there in third. And I still have the Broncos there in last. Just because, again, same reasons I think for the Broncos here. Chiefs, I know they took a step down with the things that they have lost. But I think still the coaching, they're still being there and everything. And still having Travis Kelce is going to be there. It's going to make some things happen. And I still think they're going to get it done in some of these tighter games. The Raiders, I think they have a good opportunity. They made the playoffs last year, and it was a year full of turmoil. Your head coach was gone. You lost your wide receiver, all kinds of stuff going on. And it seems like, too, when Josh McDaniels went in there, he almost went. He took like the Joe Biden attempt here. He went in and saw whatever that Mike Mayock and John Gruden did, and whatever they did, he just tried to reverse it. He's like, yo, I just want to get rid of Leatherwood. I want to get rid of this and do that.
Don't be rude.
And just change it all over, but get what he wants to do his scheme. Brought all the coaches from the Patriots over there, and that seems like that's worked really well for them. God forbid, we'll see what happens with the Patriots on their end with what they're dealing with. But I think he's got the right kind of momentum going this time around, second time being a head coach. They've got Devontae Adams paired with Derek Carr. So, again, he's got probably the best wide receiver he's ever had on the team where they already have the chemistry, too. So it's going to work right there. Plus, you got Josh Jacobs in the running, too. I just think they're going to be able to fall. Again, I don't think the Raiders are going to be like, oh, these guys have got the title all the way. I think it's going to switch hands a few times back and forth in this division. And I think Brandon Staley, again, it ain't going to be Justin Herbert saying make this team fall. I think it's going to be the coaching, the way he addresses the team, and he's too much into the analytics. I think it's going to bite him in the ass again. They barely had an opportunity to get into a playoff game last year, and they failed. So I think he's going to do the same kind of thing this year, and it's where you got to question having that defensive-minded coach here and believing in his defense so much, and they're not being able to hold off being stuck pinned against their own end zone because you went for it on fourth down so many times with that offense, and it's not helping Justin Herbert at all either. So I like the Raiders on this one, Chiefs, and my big surprise pick of the season, I guess, Chargers here in third place in this one.
All right. I mean,
we'll see what happens, though.
We'll see.
Again, I could look like the fool, but you know what? I'm not going with what everybody else is saying, though.
But the one point that I'll say about the Chargers is, just like you brought up about the coach, about going for it on fourth down, that did bite him for a playoff spot. You know what I mean? Trying to go for it too many times in fourth down, even though it's in your own... 4 times. Even though it's in your own red zone.
Right.
Like, what are you doing,
Makes
bro?
no sense. Again, you could have turned them into points, and that ended up being differentials.
Or at least punted away. Like, I mean, they went for it on their own 20 or 15 or whatever it was against the Raiders.
Absolutely.
And didn't get it. Now you turn the ball over with the Raiders in scoring position already. I mean, come on. You got to be smart sometimes.
Absolutely. You got to be smart. Talk about being smart, Joe. Why don't you tell everybody about being smart and going to Johnstone Supply for all their heating and cooling needs?
Yeah, I mean, so far, like, I'm going to say, well, like, now at this point, you get ready for the heating season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, summer's pretty much over. We're going to get into fall. And before it gets into the too cold months of winter, listen, hit your boys up, Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York. Yeah. They're the ones to go to. They have high efficiency. They have central air conditioning systems still available if you really want them. But I'm sure that they're getting a new line of heating systems as we speak. Goodman, Fujitsu, Westinghouse, you name it. They got it at all great prices. You need someone to install your new system? They're the people you want to call, Johnstone Supply. Find a way, get the services. If you have any questions on their products, or if you have any questions about what to do with your home or apartment or whatever, call Johnstone Supply in Troy, New York at 518-272-5922. You can talk to Kevin, James, or Bird. They can help you out. Leading right into the winter months. Call them 518-272-5922. Hit them up and visit them at 2600 6th Avenue in Troy, New York, baby.
Yeah, that's a beautiful read, Joe. You did a really good job.
I did a lot of ad-libbing there.
Yeah, I like it. You did well, though. You know what? And you want to talk about high efficiency. You really need that right now with everybody's complaining on Facebook about their electric bills being double, tripled. Holy moly.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. They're going after us, Joe. But hopefully if you go to Johnstone Supply, they can help you out there. All right, Joe. Now let's get into the NFC West now.
The
here.
NFC West.
NFC West. So what's the big surprise here for you? What do you got here? Let's go to our picks first, and then we'll see what the Godzilla media guys say. How about that?
Let's
jump into the NFC.
Let's
change
do
it.
it.
All right,
Mix
here we
it up
go.
a little bit.
Yep. All right, let's go. Let's take a look at Joe's picks. Here we go.
I got the Rams on top. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, they won the Super Bowl last season, and they didn't really change that much. Yes, they lost a couple of pieces, but I feel like they got something up their sleeves in terms of, having new talent ready to go. No Von Miller. He's gone. He's one of those guys that have left, and you know what?
He's going to be on the team that they're playing.
It's going to be a little bit noticeable. Yeah, he's on the Bills, and good for him getting another huge contract.
Yeah, right.
Whew. But, yeah, I got the Rams finishing on top. I got the Cardinals finishing second. Listen, if you remember, the Cardinals were, like, kind of taking the league,
by surprise, I guess. For a
by
lot of it,
big-time
surprised
surprise.
people. Yeah.
They finished, what was it? They had how many wins? They had, like, 12 or 13 wins or something like that. But they faltered once they got into the playoffs. So I think it's going to be a little bit different this year. Listen, they restocked on some more talent. They made a trade for Hollywood Brown from Baltimore to bring him over to help out with the
not having DeAndre Hopkins.
Not having
anymore,
Hopkins for the first 6 games. So they, in terms of weapons, they're stacked. They got this kid Rondell Moore in his second year, who I think is going to go off this season. James Conner is now the official featured running back in the backfield who played so well last year. He's going to continue that. They got a lot of talent on the offense. They got a lot of talent on the defense, a lot of younger guys that are starting to step up. And I just feel like that Cardinals team has something to prove this year. So I don't have them winning the division, but I got them finishing second. And then the Niners. This is where it could flip-flop. The Cardinals and the Niners could very easily flip-flop here. But the one big question mark I have is how good is Trey Lance? I mean, we haven't really seen anything from him up to this point. Yes, you might have seen him in preseason make some flashy plays, and you're hoping to see that in the regular season if you're a Niners fan. But Trey Lance, to me, still needs a little bit more development, and I'm not so sure. Like, I know what they have to do. I know they got to play him because they drafted him so high. They made that investment. It's time to move on. Jimmy G redoes his contract to remain the backup. And now Trey Lance, what can you do with this offense? He's got all these weapons, and then the defense coming back is strong, but we'll have to wait and see. And then last but not least, the Seahawks. I mean, what else do you have to say? Rebuild. Like, they don't really have a true quarterback. Their defense has been lackluster for the last 3-4 years. I mean, let's say what it is. They're rebuilding. That's why they're at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just start off with the Seahawks, too, on this one. When your choices are Geno Smith and then you traded Russell Wilson away and you got Drew Lock and you still go with Geno Smith, then you know what your options are and what kind of team you are.
I got to apologize to Noah right now. Noah Fant, tight end with Denver. Now you're in Seattle. I'm sorry, your career's over.
There you go. There you go. I'm sorry. So I'm sorry. All right. So let's go to my picks here. I have the same thing that you have here.
Okay.
I got the Los Angeles Rams. I have the Cardinals and then the 49ers. Same kind of feel, too, I think. The Cardinals, again, I picked them to take the division. I think you had them second, I think, last year. I mean, but you had the same kind of feeling that I did. That they really could take that step forward, which it looked like it was paying off for me in the beginning.
It was working.
And then they just lost it. It seemed like they couldn't get it down. Had some injuries, too. So then when it came to the playoffs, though, too, they're all set there and still just laid an egg. The offensive line just got overwhelmed, and Kyler Murray just was making mistakes and couldn't get it done. So much to where people even had question marks about him. What's going on with him? What's he going to do? He wants a new contract. They finally settled that whole deal early on in the offseason now, so he's there to stay. And now it's time for them to move forward. They did lose a Chandler Jones and stuff, but again, they retooled this team where they can still make a push. And like you said, going to get DeAndre Hopkins there too. What a big move for them. And it added to their wide receiving core so much that they even were able to let a Christian Kirk walk and stuff like that. Those guys, move on to a different team, and they're still looking good. And still able to bring back even AJ Green for a little bit if they needed it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
I think they still are poised here to make a move here. Still, they're on that up-and-coming trend here, so I like them still to make a playoff push here, to be second in this division. LA Rams, you got to say the way they played last year, and not a whole lot has changed. They have missed some people, but basically, like that Von Miller add-on was a late add-on last year to help make that push to the Super Bowl. But I think they're still in a really great spot here, especially after even just swapping out Robert Woods, who was injured all last year, for Allen Robinson on the other side. Still have Cooper Kupp. So a lot of the same guys here. I'm interested to see how healthy Cam Akers can stay this season, though, too.
Right.
Hopefully he can stay healthy all season, too, and really get a look at what he can be. And Matthew Stafford, we said it when they got him. He was the answer. He's always been a good quarterback. People just didn't notice him back there in Detroit, but now you see it. He gets it done, and there you go. And they have a good chance to make it again this year. And the 49ers, go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing about the Rams, too, that a lot of people don't bring up. Bobby frickin' Wagner is now their linebacker. That guy makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Like I feel like the linebacking core for the Rams has been somewhat weak. And now you add a guy like Bobby Wagner who understands the game inside and out and can read quarterbacks a lot of times.
Right. That's what I mean. You get the experience, and he doesn't have to be the whole defense. Like he was kind of stranded with Seattle.
For sure.
Eventually, he had to be the whole deal. And so now he's there. But again, 49ers, I really like their defensive front. But the offense, again, with Trey Lance, we're not sure, especially so much that they dangled Jimmy G out there, didn't get anything. So then they're like, well, we'll sign him back again for a deal, so then he's a free agent after this, and he can walk after this, and then we can do whatever. So that shows me they don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
But you know what? With that whole deal, too, with Jimmy, like, he was going to get paid $21 million this year. They had to restructure that deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good thing that Jimmy was willing to do it, too.
Absolutely.
So they negotiated back down to 6.5.
He could have just said, been toxic, say, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. He could be like, no, trade me. I'm
he could have did the whole Baker Mayfield sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of see them trending downwards again with some of the moves that they're doing. I'm not really high on them. They've had their opportunity. I think they're trending downwards for me. So again, that's where my 4 are here. Let's take a look at them again real quick. So there they are. And now let's go take a look at the Godzilla media picks here, Joe. Let's see what they got. Let's see what they got.
I'm curious.
Let's see if they're the same. Let's say, and Sean Martin. Okay. Sean Martin agrees with us. See, I know Sean Martin, he watches our show too, and he comments and stuff. And I think we are really like-minded people here. We really get each other. I like it. But again, some of these other guys, Brian Cady, look at them. Him and Gaz are out there. They think the 49ers are going to be able to make that push. But again, unanimously, the Seahawks at the bottom and the Rams at the top. I guess you got to think of the Rams on
But
there.
you even see, like, there is a little bit of a discrepancy there. But, with Cody and Gaz saying that the Niners are going to be second and Sean is with us with Cardinals being in second, that could go either way, just like we talked about, because it all depends on just how well does Trey Lance have a grasp on this offense.
Yeah, or even what happens. You get, because what you talk about even with Trey Lance is say he doesn't even have a grasp. Let's say he doesn't. And say he's very athletic, can make some moves.
Oh, he definitely is.
Maybe he tries to
He's
go
mobile
and make something out of it, gets hurt because of
True.
that. Now you put
Could
Jimmy
happen.
G in. Wouldn't you know it that they're pretty steady there? Debo has said that he's all about Jimmy G.
Yes.
Loves Jimmy G there.
Absolutely.
So then they actually click, and then the offense is running smooth again.
And they make the playoffs.
And then they make the playoffs, or even they flip.
Yeah.
Anything can happen like
Could
that,
happen.
and that's why they even did. You're talking about the money, even first of all,
Yeah.
foremost. Absolutely, you had to do that. But again, to be able to bring him back and him being cool with that, like, yeah, all right, I'll sit behind him here. I'll make a team-friendly deal, and then after this, I'll search the market.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever.
And the other thing, too,
it'll work.
is Trey Lance reading defenses. That's going to be, pivotal that he can do that, because there's going to be defenses that definitely fool him. And that's where you got to see, like, if you make a mistake, can you come back from it?
Right.
Or does that ruin the rest of the game for you?
Right. All right, so that's it. That's our AFC West and NFC West picks.
Yeah, we got it done.
Yeah, there we go. So, Joe, now, the question that everybody's asking now, who do you think maybe is going to be in the Super Bowl, and who do you think is going to be a champion here? Just to make a quick
I don't know.
prediction.
It's crazy.
Right now, it looks like the favorite's got to just be the Rams,
To
right?
be honest, there's so many player changes, and there was so much, changing, like with coaching staffs too, like different coaching staffs and even GMs at times. So I think with all that change, I really can't give an honest opinion on what's going to happen until I see a couple weeks into the year.
I'm just going to say, again, until they get knocked out, you got to go with the returning champions. I really don't. I'm not sold.
It is
on the
super
Tampa Bay
hard too to
Buccaneers, though.
repeat.
Oh, it is. It really is. Well, unless you're the Patriots. But so then, yeah, I'm not really sold on the Buccaneers here too. Even with some of the turmoil that's going on with them, Todd Bowles going back and getting his is a degree and stuff like that. So he's obviously planning that he might not be the head coach very long. So he's looking into his next career, right? So that's what he's doing. He's got my degree now. So I'm moving on my next career now, maybe after this one. You know what I'm saying? Because twice as a head coach, and if it fails with Tom Brady, that's a career ender. You got to think, right, Joe?
Maybe.
So there you go. So I got to say, maybe return with the Rams again.
It's
maybe
kind of funny.
Bills-Rams again in the Super Bowl.
It's kind of funny, though, too. Like, you look at the turmoil, like you mentioned turmoil. They don't have a starting center yet. They got their third-string center starting, which I'm sorry. And then remember,
Tom's just going to yell, do your job.
Remember we did the free agency, like, picks and, like, who we thought where they might go? J.C. Treader was on top of that list for centers.
Yeah.
And he decides to retire magically. I wonder why. Nobody was calling him.
Yeah,
so
nobody.
that's surprising.
Yeah,
and that's telling for what the conversation we had before about him.
Absolutely. So then a dark horse pick. I mean, there's a few out there. I mean,
There are.
a lot of people like to go because, again, a lot of people like the Buffalo Bills or what they're doing. But
If you're talking dark horse pick, are you talking like to make the playoffs? Or
I'm
are you
just
talking
saying
to
make a splash
make
here,
a
like
splash,
a surprise team.
like a
Almost
surprise.
like what the Cardinals did, but they did it. So the
Gotcha.
splash team, dark horse last year, obviously the Bengals. People, like, we thought they were going to get a little better, but I thought it was going to be like a few years. They instantly kind of jumped right in and took it all the way to the AFC Championship game and into the Super Bowl. So you couldn't get more dark horse than that.
I
So
mean,
what would it be here for these guys? You know, again, is it on the AFC side? Is
I'm
it
actually
on the NFC side?
kind of surprised about the Lions last year for me. Like, to me, they had way more success than I thought they were going to have.
Yeah, well, they didn't jump out. I mean, but I think as far as when you looked at them, when you're looking at, you know, what they
I
say,
didn't
like
think
the
they were gonna
eye
win.
test, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They fought a lot of those playoff teams hard.
Yeah.
Again, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
So, again, dark horse. Hey, how about when we say Matt Rule and the Carolina Panthers with the way that division is? They make a push, maybe slide into a playoff spot.
That
Baker
could be huge.
Mayfield makes some moves. Christian McCaffrey stays healthy all year.
No.
Holy crap. That would break the internet, I think, right now at this point. And they didn't get to see Baker at his best.
I'll go even deeper. I'll go Texans.
Ooh.
I think
Oh, God.
I'm telling you right now. I mean, you look at that team.
Imagine that, though.
I'm telling you right
That
now.
would
Look
be
at what they
crazy.
did last year. Look at what Davis Mills himself did last year. And if now that he has a better O-line, he has some more weapons. Like Nico Collins came back healthy. Brandon Cooks is there. You know, they have this young rookie who I am super stoked about, Damian Pierce. I think this dude is going to be the next like legit running back in the league. They got him starting. Like, I love what they got going on offensively. Defensively is a question mark. They got a lot of young guys that got to prove themselves and whatnot. But I think offensively it gives them an opportunity, or at least a shot, to win more games than people even think they're even capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I just want to tell everybody out there, thank you for watching the show out there. If you guys have some comments here too, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. And Joe, why don't you tell them where else they could find us if they're watching and hear us on YouTube and on
definitely.
Facebook and stuff. But we're also on Spotify and Apple
Yeah,
Music.
we're all over the place, everybody. Listen, if you're new to the show, even if you're not, and you know someone that would
some
love
friends,
our football talk show here, well, listen, we're all about being interactive. We're the best damn NFL talk show that's interactive you'll ever see. And second of all, why don't you head over to YouTube, right? Do us a favor. Head over to YouTube. Search us up, Football on the No Show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Let you guys know when we go live as well. And if you don't like YouTube, that's okay too. We're still here on Facebook for you as well. Do the same thing. Become a member. Become a know-it-all. And it doesn't stop there. The coverage even is further expanded into the podcast world. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we are there. Make sure you give us a follow. And, if, you know, also, I just want to say this. We do appreciate everybody out there. We appreciate all our sponsors. We thank every one of our know-it-all out there for supporting our channel, supporting our show. It does mean a lot, and it does help us kind of grow our brand and get out there to other people. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, come see us at some live shows. We're going to book some live shows this year during the football season. So whenever we share that with you guys, that's how you're going to know, too. You get the notifications on Facebook and all that. We'll let you know and come out and see us, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right, so let's get into it, Joe.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't bring
what?
the bottle down, but all right. In case you guys are new to the show, all right. If you've been here a while, you already know this.
You already know the deal.
All right. But the bout's about to happen, and Joe and I have been doing this bet for the past couple of seasons.
Yeah,
I won
definitely.
the first 3 seasons, then Joe got me last year. So basically,
We did it that long?
Yeah, dude.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's crazy, right?
I only remember 3.
Oh, well, that's because you were drinking through a lot of them. You know what I mean? So you might not have remembered something.
Willingly, too.
Yeah. So I basically have a plastic cup or container
Football size.
the size of the football, and we fill it up with an alcoholic beverage all the way to the top. And the loser at the end of the season, whoever gets beat in these picks, has to drink that whole thing during the show, and it is a drunken experience. It's a lot of fun. It's funny because I was pretty bad last year when I got it. And I only lost by 1 game, Joe. That was so frustrating to see that. I think it was like 1 or 2 games. It was tough, man. It got tight. I was trying to judge what picks I did, and I missed a few. It was all over the place. But now it's the pick session again, Joe.
It is.
Week 1. Let's get into it. First game, tomorrow night's game, we've got the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Rams.
Damn it, dude. What a way to start the season off, right?
Yeah.
Let's make this a little harder for us, right, NFL? You guys did this on purpose.
Don't they usually try to start off with the teams that were in the Super Bowl and they play each other or something like
I
that? Or
thought
don't
so.
They do that? They usually try to
I
do
mean,
that, right?
I thought so, but now I think they're whatever they think is going to be primetime worthy now, I guess.
Well, I think
like,
this
big
one
deal.
they're admitting
You know what I
they
mean?
screwed up. They're like, yo, we definitely should have had this one.
We should have helped Buffalo.
Yeah. Here it is.
We fucked up.
Yeah, that's
they
what it
did.
is. So they're like, this is the
Definitely
matchup they wanted to see. So there you go. Thursday night, my birthday. I'm going to go. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough. Because,
Really
again,
tough.
You're going to see the way
I don't think
Buffalo
there's
Bills
a
are.
right or wrong answer, to be
Yeah,
honest.
but I'm going with the home team. Again, not a lot of times the team traveling to the West Coast has an issue with it and stuff, but it's going to be a little different. I think Buffalo getting to face off against the Rams. I think the Rams get to stay home, be prepared, and they're returning champions. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
All
I'm
right.
going with the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, I like it. I
make it
like
easy,
you went out there, shots firing,
fired already.
and you got you already made your pick. That's pretty impressive because I'm not going to lie to you, I would stumble on this pick. To be honest, they're both really good teams. They're both really well coached, and there's a lot on the line. I feel like in week 1 with these two teams, they both want to prove that they are the team to beat this year. So I'm going to go opposite just because we're going to make this thing fun.
Let's make it
I'm going
saucy.
Buffalo Bills, baby.
Boom.
We're going to
All
circle
right.
the wagons. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, let's go.
Let's go. All right, here we go. Next up now, Sunday. A huge lineup of games here. And we only have 1 night game. Sometimes they've set up with 2 night games on the first week. But here we go. We got the New Orleans Saints in the Atlanta Falcons, the who gives a shit game. Even I think they've said something about it. Just like why? I don't even think it's gonna be freaking horse shit. It's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be even televised. Like, should they televise this? They should just black out the area.
They're gonna
I don't know.
they're gonna show it.
But who knows?
That's a rivalry.
But yeah, it is a rivalry here in Atlanta. I don't think that's going to make a difference. I haven't been high on their quarterback anyways and stuff. They were able to be gadgety last year with Arthur Smith and what they were doing. But again, Marcus Mariota at the helm now. And the New Orleans Saints, even though you're not Sean Payton there still, they still got, the defensive-minded coach that was there with them, trying to probably keep the same kind of group together, the same type of mindset. And Jameis Winston has been good, though, at times with this team. He's not completely fixed, I think, but I think in a better situation.
Right.
And
I liked what I saw from him last year before he got hurt. You know what I mean? I liked what we saw him. But you're right. It's going to be very different because it's not Sean Payton anymore. He's not that creativity from the offense. I don't know if it's still going to be there.
Yeah, so, I mean, taking a look at it, though, I think I'm just going to ride with the New Orleans Saints on this one. Just because I think their defense is even better. So, I mean, I'm going to roll with that together. So
hands down.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, too, is like I like Atlanta. I like what they did this offseason. I feel like they've added some definitely more talent. Even in the draft, Drake London looks to make his debut alongside Kyle Pitts in his second year. So they have some weapons. They have something to work with there. And Marcus Mariota, I think this is going to work better for him in this offense. is going to show now's the time to prove that you can be a starting quarterback, because now you're giving that opportunity one last time. But the Atlanta Falcons are still rebuilding. Listen, Deion Jones was just put on IR, short-term IR, so the captain of their defense is not going to be there. So that worries me. Saints, I mean, when you look at their roster and you look at what they've been able to add, like a Tyrann Mathieu on the back end with Marshawn Lattimore still there, the D-line that's going to get after the quarterback, and offensively, listen, I think the sky's the limit for the Saints offense this year. I mean, they have a ton of weapons, drafting Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry in the slot. Michael Thomas, we're still not quite sure if he's going to play week 1 or not. But in the end, I feel like they're going to have more firepower than Atlanta. I'm going to Saints as well.
All right, here we go. We've got Derek Debo Tuzin in the house with us tonight.
What's up, Derek? Welcome to the show, brother.
Boom. What's up? Go Niners,
He's a Niners
he says,
fan.
by the way. Yeah,
he's a
Niners
fan.
fans. Yeah.
And guess what? The next game is the
Yes,
Niners
yeah.
at the Bears.
Go ahead, take it away here, Joe.
Yeah, this is not even really that tough, right? I'm sorry, but Derek, I'm going with your team, man. I just love, like, now that their defense is healthy yet again, they're going to just come down so hard on Justin Fields. He's not going to know what to do. His head's going to be spinning. He's not going to know where to go with the ball.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
And that could happen too.
Yeah,
but the
absolutely.
Niners are they're going in on this Chicago team. I think they're going into Chicago and they're going to just kind of just beat them up. I mean, it is what it is. And listen, this is good. This is a perfect week 1 for Trey Lance, to be honest. This is not an opponent that is like, like the Bears used to be. They used to have a phenomenal defense that it was like very difficult to move the ball on. But now, this is perfect for him to set up, to get him comfortable, to gain confidence this week. I got the Niners beating Bears.
All right, here, Joe's on there with them. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Same thing again, just because they are a more complete team. You want to talk about what we were saying with the Seattle Seahawks? The same thing kind of here with the Chicago Bears. They change over hands of, new GM, new coach. Get rid of a lot of the guys that were already there. Free up some space. You know what I mean? You got no more Khalil Mack and things like that. All these guys are gone. No more Allen Robinson. A lot of switchover.
Akeem Hicks.
Yeah, Akeem Hicks was big, which was a big part of that defense.
And Roquan Smith even wanted out.
Yeah, no, he wants to leave because that's what I mean. He looks around, he's like, "Yo, where'd everybody go?" All right, yeah, I went out. But yeah, and that's what I mean. So they're in a rebuild mode, and it stinks for Justin Fields here to get it going. But you know what? He's the one that's got to keep it together. It's his boat to steer. So we'll see what he can show for this team and see what he can do while they start to put pieces around him here and really build. So
and
I like
Derek,
the San Francisco 49ers.
Derek just said, watch out for Ayuk. Brandon
Ooh.
Ayuk is, I understand that because Ayuk, I got him on one of my fantasy teams, and I'm starting him all year. Yeah. I think that this dude is going to kind of go off this year. This is the year that he breaks out.
Oh.
Go crazy. Ah, go stupid. Ah,
Go crazy. Go stupid. All right, here. Next up, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh,
again,
man.
This was such a hard
a
rivalry,
good one.
too, where it gets physical and stuff. But how different will it be now that there's no even Ben Roethlisberger there, too? Because I think that was what heated it up. He's going to break out this season. There you go.
Sir.
Just
Yes,
going
sir.
along with you. You still have Mason Rudolph, as the backup role. But isn't that funny, though? When you go and you draft a Kenny Pickett this year, and Mason Rudolph is still your backup, and Kenny Pickett's down on the third string.
Yeah, thank
now.
you. You got to tell the audience that. Because
He's down a third string, and Mitch Trubisky is your starter here now. So I think that looks good for Pittsburgh as far as Trubisky being the starter. I really like that move.
Sorry to cut you off, but real quick, I got to say this because the Steelers were actually getting phone calls to trade for Mason Rudolph. They wanted, and they were like, no, we're not trading him. So if you're going to take that kind of a stance and be like, hey, listen, wait, didn't you draft Kenny Pickett to be your starter eventually? But you're saying no to a trade for Rudolph? That's got to say something louder than you're letting on. You know what I mean? Maybe Kenny Pickett, who knows? Maybe he's not going to be the starter ever.
Maybe. Who knows? Yeah, exactly, right? What does this look at, and maybe those tangibles, like those hands you talked about. You got to be weary of those measurables when they talk about them.
Especially in inclement weather.
That's the reason why they look at some of these things here. And maybe he wasn't ready. And then you look at these guys. You made an excellent point before we got started with the show. and we weren't able to say here about in front of everybody, but tell everybody that tidbit even that you even have about this draft this season.
Yeah, I mean, this upcoming season, it has been 15 years. That's right. It's been 15 years.
Ain't nobody got time for
since
that.
a quarterback has been drafted and is not starting on any given team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. That
Right?
in
As a
15 years,
rookie draft.
it's
Yeah.
happened. Right now, it's
Yeah.
insane. Like, so any quarterback that was drafted is not getting a start in week one. Last time that's happened 15 years ago.
But who knows, though? Maybe this is that reset we needed because we talked about it countless times again. Let these guys sit behind somebody for a couple years, much like Aaron Rodgers had done, and maybe what they can do. See what if they develop into something. Let them develop. Everybody's so worried about the quick and the now. Give it to me satisfied right now. See what you got for a little bit, feel it out, and then they could grow to something.
I mean, that just goes to show you that
But,
nobody was
again,
ready to be the starter.
These guys weren't. Yeah, and that's
They're
the thing,
not
though,
ready.
too. They're not ready. So, all right, let's go. So Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I think at this point too, Pittsburgh, they still got a great defense.
They really
I mean, you
do.
can't deny it there. So they're going to put some pressure on Cincinnati, but they did beef up that offensive line. See, they are a team, not like the Seattle Seahawks, who would get 50 sacks
Forget
last
about that.
year on their quarterback and say, "Yo, maybe we should invest in an offensive line this year," and they did. So I think they're going to be able to fight back here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mitch Trubisky, we're just going to see what he can do against this even tough defense of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to be watching a lot of these games to see what these guys do. I'm interested to see
gotta
how
watch
Trubisky is. And because if you do pressure him, though, I think Trubisky is better outside the numbers on the run and with
Yes.
those bootlegs and making those plays.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing, too, is like I'm excited for Mitch Trubisky to get another chance to be a starter in this league. I feel like he's going to do really well with Pittsburgh because they do run a lot. They do use the running back in a lot of different ways, and it's going to free up some of the pressure that Mitch has faced once before back in Buffalo, where it was kind of like, here, prove it. You got to be the guy. Or in Chicago, prove it. You got to be the guy. Now I think it's going to be a little bit less pressure on him. I think he's going to be more relaxed, more comfortable, and especially now that he has more experience, it definitely helps. And the Steelers' defense is just it's amazing. Like it hasn't even skipped a beat just yet. So I like what Pittsburgh's putting together, but I really like what Cincinnati's doing because just like Jim kind of mentioned, where was their biggest weakness last year? It wasn't receiving core. It wasn't quarterback. It wasn't running back. It wasn't defense necessarily because their defense was playing really well. It was offensive line. What they do, they go out and they just, boom, make every single spot that was weak on that offensive line front, especially on the right side, and just put in veteran, younger linemen that are just proven. And they're going to help out immensely. Cincinnati, we saw what they could do last year with what they had with a lackluster offensive line. Now they actually have an O-line. I think they're going to be super dangerous this year. I got Cincinnati.
There you go. I think we put way too much into that Pittsburgh game, but whatever. It was a lot of fun. All right, New England and Miami now. So this could be an interesting one here, too, and they are playing in Miami.
Ooh, you know what that means.
Yeah.
Patriots usually lose in
They do. They do, and that was when they had Tom Brady and stuff. So,
Right.
New England, a lot of question marks. And, I heard something from an insider on the Patriots side today.
Okay.
The reason, all right, this is breaking news, right? Maybe it could be breaking news. Did I do breaking news for everybody? All right, I heard the reason they want Matt Patricia to be that offensive coordinator. But the reason why they haven't named him, though, he's still getting paid by the Titans. So if he is named to another head job, like coordinator or something like that nullifies that deal and he stops getting paid by them.
Oh, wow. That's
So-
crazy. But we also saw where this was headed anyway.
Yeah,
It
but I mean,
seemed to
so
be
now he's dipping
because-
and getting
because-
money from them still and get paid by the
he's not
Patriots.
getting the title, but he's been calling
He's
the
been
plays.
doing it all, and that's what it is, and that's why he's not been named the offensive coordinator, and that's why they're keeping it that way. And they're like, well, we don't know who he is, and we don't know. That's why it seems like, what do you mean you don't know?
Yes,
it's
you
because
do.
they want him to get paid by the
Right,
the
I
Lions
gotcha.
still. So
Yep,
wow,
makes
dude,
sense.
there you go.
Makes sense.
There you go. So now you guys know. And There you go. That's why you're a know-it-all. That's why you watch this show.
Hashtag know-it-all.
There you go. All right. So anyways, New England, this could be a tough one. You're going to see these two young quarterbacks go at it, see what Mac Jones really is. And we need to see Tua be able to get it out there, get it to Tyreek Hill and these weapons that he has here. It is in Miami, so I'm going to make it short and sweet. I'm going to go with Miami on this one.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, too, is like because New England has so many question marks, like, yeah, okay, we know Matt Patricia's been calling the plays, and that was where it was headed. But defensively even is different, personnel-wise. No more Donta Hightower, the veteran that's been there for, ever for New England. He's not there. Now they have a couple of younger corners that have to step up and make some plays.
Yep.
So to me, there's a lot of youth, like a youth movement on the defensive side, especially where a lot of people are going to have to step up, and I just don't know what to expect from them. I understand Bill Belichick, has done his due diligence, and he's going to make sure his defense is as good as it could possibly be. But because of all these question marks, because of the offensive staff, that just I don't know. I don't know what to expect with New England this year, but I'm already think that they're on a downward spiral. I'm going to go with the Dolphins here because I have more confidence in Miami this year than I do New England.
Even that dorky head coach too. Have you seen that guy?
I don't care what he looks like as long as he gets results.
Yeah, I think he will too. And the one thing too about the Belichick Brady thing too, I don't think it was more this guy or more that guy. Mm-hmm. A perfect marriage works when you got both of you guys together and making it work. Right? And that's what that was. So now they're separated. It is what it is. So
and you look at
this guy's better, that guy's better.
You look at the defense though for Dolphins. Last year they were really good. I don't know what to expect, even though the personnel wise is pretty solid. It is a different defense too. So what's to say that their defense might not be as good as it was last year?
Right.
So there's a lot of variables, but I like the fact that they have Tyreek Hill and everybody else on that team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody likes the weapons that they have there. So now the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Jets here. What a first team for Joe Flacco to face.
Oh,
how come we're not hearing that storyline? Like, oh, is this a revenge game for Joe Flacco? Holy crap. You know what I mean? It's like...
Are y'all fucking serious right
So, I mean, this is a great team for the Baltimore Ravens, I think, to face here, even though I think the defense has made a step up here. Now, Robert Saleh being able to put his fingerprint on this defense finally here. Again, Zach Wilson can't stay healthy. He'll be back in a few more weeks. Joe Flacco, a veteran, but again, the stat there that he hasn't won the last 15 games, I think, that he started. It's usually because he's been with some bad teams, though, too. You can't put it all on him, too, as well.
Yeah.
But again, the Baltimore Ravens still a good defense, and a lot of that comeback team. A lot of people high on the Ravens this year. I'm taking a step back. I'm not that high on them as much as everybody else. I still think they're going to be good, but I think Lamar is what he is. But I think he's going to be able to be very efficient against this team right here. I'm liking the Ravens here.
Yeah, we've seen Lamar take steps forward in terms of being a all-around quarterback, a guy that's not just seen as a mobile guy, but also a guy that's gotten better at passing the football, but hasn't quite reached that peak of becoming the all-around quarterback that can make not only just any throw, but also has that smart decision-making. We saw him struggle big time later last season, and it kind of made Baltimore unsettled. They didn't have as much
get injured,
confidence in him. He got banged up too.
Be scary.
But the thing of it all is like they're starting to see a little bit of a regression instead of progression. So that's got to be what they're going to be focusing on. I wonder if they're going to get back to their just running a lot more than normal. Like last year, they tried to make it known like, oh no, we can throw too. And it didn't quite fit the offensive scheme that they normally run. So I look for them to get back to that and get back to the strength of this team on offense. They got a lot of people healthy back. Defensively, they're more solid than they've ever been. And the Jets, they are still rebuilding. There's going to be no Zach Wilson. It's Flacco. And don't get me wrong, Flacco has shown that he can be that starter for them. But, man, I think he's going to be running for his life. With Baltimore on the
and even on the opposite, again, the Jets trying to contain Lamar, and then they could just hand it off to like a J.K. Dobbins and things like that. I mean, it's going to be tough for them to handle there on offense. So, all right, next the Jacksonville Jaguars, Joe, and the Washington Commanders. Who do you got in this one? I know you really like what the Jags have been doing.
I do like their defense. I like some of the additions that they made. Not the contracts, but I like the additions they made on the offense. I do like Jacksonville's offensive line now that they're back and healthy again. Washington, the one thing that kind of perplexes me about this Commander team is Carson Wentz. What Carson are we going to see week 1? Are we going to see the guy that kind of falls apart like normal? Or are we going to see a guy that's not going to try to escape the pocket when there's nothing there and just deliver the ball? Just get rid of the ball, man. You do not have to be the whole offense. I like the Commanders where they're headed in terms of adding more talent. But, man, this is a tough one for me. I can't go with Carson. I just really can't do it. So I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence.
Boom.
Week 1. Jacksonville Jaguars get their first win with the new coach, Doug Peterson.
Yeah, and I think you said it right there. Is what gets me right there is Doug Peterson. He knows Carson Wentz. He knows that they don't get along. They know each other, and I think he's going to have a game plan. This is what we're going to do. You look at this defense, Joe. You got Josh Allen, who was there even before. And then they added Devin Lloyd and Trayvon Walker this year, too, as well. It's just the defense that they had here. And now that offense being able to get Etienne back here, too, as well. And Trevor
weapon.
Lawrence, together, getting a second year. I just think they've got the momentum. They've got the right coach, especially to play this Washington Commanders team. I've got question marks about the Commanders because, again, their defense looked really good a year or so ago. And then last year it was kind of shaky, then kind of found themselves a little bit. But there's the fact that they're still searching for a quarterback. That doesn't help out, even though you've got some of these weapons here. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, too. Is it an upset?
There's got to be. No, I don't think it's an upset.
Okay.
But I will say this. There's got to be a disclaimer. If Taylor Heineke comes in, then you might go
watch
Commanders.
out, then you might, you're like, the tides are going to break here. It's going to change. Here we go. He's going to put his headband on. Here we go. I'm going in.
Next up, we got the Cleveland Browns at Carolina Panthers. This is a revenge game we've been waiting to see. Baker Mayfield against his old team. He's looking to shred them up. Like, he really wants to put a hurt on this on his former team with the Browns. So, no Deshaun Watson. He's been suspended for 11 games, as we all well know. But they still got talent. They still got a lot of talent on this team. And, they are traveling to Carolina, though. That's kind of like, to me, that this is going to be a close game, I feel like. I feel like this game is going to be decided, it's going to be like a 10-point game, maybe even a field goal at the very end. Who has the ball last? And it could be Baker's time. This could be the one game to put the nail in the coffin right at the end. What a story it would be for him for week 1 to give it back to the Browns. I honestly love the Panthers team defensively. Like, they got a lot of youth, and they've gotten really good quickly. They've gelled well together. I like Christian McCaffrey's back. I think I'm going to go Carolina in this one, actually.
All right, Joe.
Revenge
Nice.
game.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking, too, because, again, you look at the weapons that Cleveland has, too, but is Jacoby Brissett the guy that's going to be able to get it to him?
Right.
I mean, we've heard about Amari Cooper and what he was able to do even there for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now he's here, moved on to this team they've moved on from Jarvis Landry and Odell and all those guys and stuff. So this is what you got. And so basically you want to get your running game going and have your defense kind of stop the Panthers here. Well, on the other side, they've got Christian McCaffrey, too, who's like a 7-tool guy. So and Baker Mayfield, who has that red in his eyes, ready to get some stuff done here, too, as well. And even behind Christian McCaffrey, you still have Chuba Hubbard, too, who was really successful filling in for him when he wasn't there. So I think that's going to be like a two-headed monster they could play around with, too. And I agree with you, even on the defense, the youth and everything. I just think them being at home, too, and the fact that Cleveland doesn't have Deshaun Watson right there, I'm going with Carolina as well.
It's the debut, I believe, for J.C. Horn, the former first-round draft pick from last year. Never got to see the field. So, man, I love their secondary. I love the D-line that they have. They're going to be tenacious with Brian Burns flying off the edge. I'm actually excited to see that game.
Right. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans. Texans again in rebuild mode. I know what you're saying here. I really like Davis Mills, too. I mean, he's one of those sneaky guys, too, that nobody ever heard of, didn't really expect to do a whole lot, and he's came out with some good games last
yeah.
year. And it looked really good, despite that losing record that they had and stuff.
Right.
The fact that they even entrusted him in being the guy for
Right.
them. You know what I mean? There was quarterbacks they could have taken this year, and they were drafted high,
Yep.
and they didn't. You know what I mean? So. But then going against an Indianapolis Colts here team who has been searching for that quarterback as well, but it looks like they've really found that guy that fits. Matt Ryan
Definitely.
here found a spot for him too to make that last push, I guess, here to go get another ring if he can get a ring that he squandered, and for Atlanta, he can maybe do it here with the Colts. I like the Colts in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the Colts, listen, they basically just kind of retooled their roster a little bit, added some more youth, some more weapons. Michael Pittman Jr. looked like he's starting to come into his own.
Are nice too.
He's got some nice chemistry with Matt Ryan, but also the bigger thing of adding Matt Ryan is the communication with his receivers, with his running backs, with his O-line. I remember seeing like a few practices of him, and he was doing a lot of communicating, a lot of talking to the receiver. Listen, if you're going to do a fade, I'm going to drop it right here for you. So you always know that that's where I'm throwing the ball.
Yeah.
A lot of teaching going on, which is great for the Colts. They haven't had that type of a quarterback in quite some time. You know what I mean? So that, to me, right there, by seeing that, you can just sense that there's going to be a little bit difference in this offense. Like, it's going to start to definitely take a trend upwards with this team. And then defensively, the only problem I have is not personnel, it's the D coordinator. I had him with the Raiders last year, but honestly, I can't buy into him. He plays too soft a zone. He plays a very soft type of defense, bend but don't break. Gus Bradley, I don't know. I think this is going to kind of hold back how good this defense actually could become. So because of that, that kind of gives me a question mark. Houston, listen, I said it before earlier in the show. I love their offense. I like what they got going there. Defensively, they still got to further develop that side of the ball. But I like the Colts in week 1 to kind of get this win and start it off right.
Next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. I mean, this could be a close one again, Joe. The way that they've been portrayed here on Hard Knocks, a lot of people getting behind them too. I think a lot of people getting to see that side of the Lions and Dan Campbell.
Yep.
The emotional leader
Gets
that
you
he
fired
is.
up.
I think it gets everybody juiced up. They're
Got
ready
me
to
fired
go.
up.
So you go out there, you're ready to run through a brick wall. But
That's
again,
right.
now you've got the Philadelphia Eagles. You saw what they did in the offseason, retooled everybody, got some weapons here for Jalen Hurts. And they're kind of like the team now that everybody's going alongside. They finally given up on the
Jalen Reagor.
Well, no, I'm just saying not even those guys, but the media has given up on the Cowboys. Now they have said that the Cowboys are not taking the division. They are high on the Eagles. And who knows? We'll see it get done. But you know what? Detroit would love to play spoiler here, and they're really fired up.
For sure.
Playing in Detroit. But, again, I think it is the right mix of guys that they grabbed here to help Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's a pretty good quarterback, too. Just needed to tweak some things and just mature with the game. I like the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's not. Of course you're going to like the Eagles because look at what, like you mentioned before, look at what they did this offseason. I mean, they had a complete whole opposite. Forgot the corner there, but they managed to seal that up. And they had the guy for James Bradbury. They added to that roster, which completes that secondary. And then you look at you look at what they did with defensive line wise. They end up bringing Fletcher Cox back. As much rumors that were swirling around that they wanted to trade him and move on from him, they keep him there. So they add some more potential talent on that D line. Offensively, they gave up on Reagor. Guess what? They got a way better player. A trade for A.J. Brown to team him up with Devonta Smith. What's not to like there? I'm still not crazy about Miles Sanders. I don't know if they're going to use him. They haven't used him very well in the past. Nick Sirianni, I'm just not buying into him as a coach. I'm still not buying into him as a play caller. That's where the only thing that kind of hinders me with the Eagles. But going into Detroit, this is going to be a closer game than I think people think this is going to happen. Is Detroit's going to give them everything they could possibly handle, and the Eagles are just barely going to get a win out of this.
Yeah, because even too, they've got some young guys there as well, and the quarterback on the opposite side, no matter how
Jared
people
Goff.
dog him and stuff like that, he has Super Bowl experience too. I mean, he's been there, so he knows what to do. So I mean, it's gonna be tough. This is gonna be a tough game.
You look at that receiving core too.
Yeah, yeah.
DJ Chark, Amon St. Jesus.
Call me a St. Brown.
No.
Yeah, no.
Amon St. Ra.
Amon St. Ra, yeah.
I mean, you got even the tight end TJ Hawkinson. Like, there's ways to get around this defense. I feel like with those type of talented players and DeAndre Swift in the backfield, like they could keep it very close for the whole time, very easily.
All right, so next we've got the New York Giants and the Tennessee Titans.
This is what everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah, I should have put this as a poop game. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me as a Giants fan, I'm wearing my stuff here today just for the beginning of the season. Again, you're just looking to see some improvement. That's all I want. Right. Again, because we have one of the most injured rosters out there. Plus, again, cleaning house to just clear money. So we're just getting rid of people. I mean, we even restructured Darius Slayton's contract so then he's making like the league minimum right now. Well, thank God he helped us out on that. Yeah. You know, so it is. Talk about a regime that goes in and says, let's just change everything the other guys did. That's what they're doing. They bought this thing and they're like, wow, these guys spent way too much money. Everything's on sale. Like, let's get rid of this whole thing. And that's what they're doing here. So you go in against the Titans. Biggest thing they got to try and do is stop Derrick Henry. Yeah, good luck with that. And so I like the Tennessee Titans on this one. I'm not going to get too much into it because there isn't a whole lot to see on this one. I just want to see some improvement along the lines this season for the Giants.
Yeah, this is like one of those like week one college games where you have the prominent school, going up against a powder puff team where you're going to steamroll them.
It's going to be like when Derrick Henry played when he was in high school and played against those other teams.
Yeah,
right?
It's like Tennessee Titans are Georgia and they're going to play East Tennessee State, the Giants. So this is going to be one of those confident booster games for Tennessee Titans. There's not a whole lot to expect from the Giants. I mean, we all know that they're rebuilding. We all know they have a new coaching staff. There's a lot of different movement in that organization. Listen, they cut one of our favorite linebackers in Blake Martinez, who was just a tackling machine for New York. I think they made too many changes defensively, especially with a new defense that you're trying to teach, that I don't think it's going to go well week one. Maybe they'll get it, a little bit better as the season goes on, but I think they're going to struggle a little bit with Daniel Jones, too. Like, listen, Giants fans, NFL fans, we've all seen Daniel Jones play. The coaches, I don't know what they're thinking, but we know it's not him. We know he's not the answer. So why not give, Tyrod Taylor a shot at this starting gig? So, in the end, it's going to be Tennessee all day with lots of Derrick Henry and a little bit of Ryan Tannehill, and that's going to be the game.
That's it, yeah. But now the one thing to watch for me is, again, how well is this Tennessee defense going to be able to get to Daniel Jones? Again,
they're going to get there.
Well, I bet they are, but I want to be able to see how well this offensive line can maybe hold up to him a little bit. I want to see some remnants of a pocket of some sort that I haven't been able to see the last couple of years. So we'll see.
You're still rebuilding, though, bud.
Oh, yeah, I hear it.
That's
next, we got the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. We heard Skol out there before, a Vikings fan, and like I said, some people are saying this is another, not a breakout season, big season for Kirk Cousins to make that step towards MVP talk. And you've got the Packers where people are saying now, Aaron Rodgers, we kind of took your weapons away from you. Now prove that you are this guy that can do it without it, because you're complaining like you're not.
I mean, there's been a whole lot of pointing fingers
right?
in Green Bay. Wisconsin isn't so lovely right now. I mean, when you're calling out your receivers for not catching the ball, running wrong routes sometimes. Listen, a lot of this kind of gets leaked out on purpose, though.
Yeah.
Because, quite honestly, they could be saying this, and everyone's like, oh, man, it's that bad? And then week one, you're like, I don't know what they were talking about. It looks pretty good on the football field. Like, we've seen this before. Like, the whole talking down, like, I don't know, the offense is still not 100%. We're still not on the same page. All those cliches. And then week one, it looks like they're not missing a step. Right. So I think that's kind of what's going to end up happening in week one. I feel like A lot of the receivers. Look at Alan Lazard might miss this game, everybody, and that's a big deal.
I was going to ask you, how big is that not having him in this game?
Is number one. He was going to be seen as that number one go-to guy for Aaron Rodgers, and now he's probably not going to make this game. It's going to fall on the shoulders of none other than aging GOAT Randall Cobb. And let's hope that he can kind of get his Yunyons behind him to kind of develop faster than we've ever seen before. To kind of help out. Listen, the other thing too that I want to say is we forget some of these like kind of guys that don't have big names, but they show big promise. Their tight end from a year ago got injured, was out for the season. Robert Turbin Robert, what is it? Tunyon. Robert Tunyon.
Yeah.
You saw like a kind of like George Kittle-esque type of tight end in him, that a guy that could really make an impact in the receiving and blocking. Look for him to kind of be a major player in this game. He's coming back healthy yet again. And defensively, I don't know if anybody remembers, but Jair Alexander, he was that shutdown corner that they used to have a couple years ago. Didn't play last season due to injury. He's back. This defense has gotten not only healthier, but more dangerous. So I love what Green Bay has on their defense. It's hard to bet against Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings, I like their offense. I'm just not 100% sold on their defense. I think too many missing parts. A lot of veterans have left. I don't know if they have the right guys to continue their prowess on defense. So I'm going to go Green Bay. Going into Minnesota.
I'm going to do the same thing, too. And basically the same type of things that you're saying, too. Minnesota, again, everybody's high on Justin Jefferson now, man. Oh, my gosh. Justin
he's
Jefferson,
good. Don't get me wrong. He's really good.
I get it. You got Dalvin Cook there to run the ball. I understand the offense. But the defense, again, it's finally running its course to now where I just don't think they're good, especially against, Green Bay, whoever they might have. Aaron Rodgers, like he had said to the Bears time and time again, I own you. I think he's been able to do it to the Vikings, too, as well. I don't think it's going to be a big difference here, whether they're in Minnesota or not. I like the Green Bay Packers.
By no means do I think this is going to be a blowout either.
No,
way.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Close game.
It's going to be tight, but I think I'd side with the Green Bay Packers in this one. All right, next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals. Joe, what a duking out
I like this one.
Here. Again, they could have... everybody likes Dallas in Tampa Bay, but they should have flexed this one maybe to the 8:20 game. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because what happened last year? Didn't Tampa Bay... Oh, yeah, Dallas gave Tampa Bay a run last year. I think the first game of the season last year.
Yeah.
And then Tampa still won, I think. And then Dallas, I don't think, won since then. But the Arizona Cardinals here will face off at home here against the Kansas City Chiefs. We get to take a look at what this Kansas City Chiefs now look like without a Tyreek Hill. What happens if they are able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Does he start running out of bounds and making dumb errant throws and stuff like that, which we pointed out time and time again that he still does. He's still learning. No matter how quick you want to crown him, he still makes mistakes. He's still trying to get the game still here too. But the problem is he believes in his ability more than I think he can see the things happening around him sometimes. But it's going to be a tough game. These are two of these teams that who knows? Maybe down the road we'll see these guys in the Super Bowl together at one point. But Kyler Murray facing up against the Chiefs. Oh, man. This is going to be close. I think...
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, too, is like you got...
I'm going to go with the Chiefs just for the hell of it. Just because, again, coaching tree, just the fact that they do have Travis Kelce here still, too. They're going to be missing DeAndre Hopkins, but, yes, they do have Hollywood. I think it's going to take a little Arizona to get started, take a little bit for them to get started. I like the Chiefs in this one. Why not?
All right.
What the hell?
And I'm going to go direct opposite.
He's going with the Cardinals.
I like Arizona. I like the fact that they have Kyler Murray, who's very mobile quarterback. This is going to be extremely hard on the Chiefs' defense. We know that they like to send pressure all the time and everything, but I think this could bite them in the butt when they do that. They don't have Tyrann Mathieu right there. I think that's a bigger loss than the Chiefs are letting on. And I like what the Arizona Cardinals offensive line has been able to do. They've been able to upgrade that front, and I think that's what you need to play the Chiefs defense.
All right.
Arizona Cardinals on defense, like I said before, younger, they're up and coming, they're ferocious, they're going to get after them. And I'm not so sure with a receiving core that the Chiefs have, like a Juju. And Mecole Hardman, I think, is even questionable this week, too.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce. Like, he's usually his go-to guy. But after that, you don't have a Tyreek Hill. You don't have anybody that's that explosive anymore. So that's going to be too different for me. I'm going Arizona in this
All
one.
right, here we go. And you got the Vegas Raiders and the Chargers here, Joe. Another good matchup here.
Jesus.
Yeah, what do you got in this one? Are you going with your home team, the Raiders?
Ah, man, this is tough. I really don't know. I mean, the Chargers, listen, this is the battle, right? This is what we kind of – a lot of people are seeing, like, maybe it's going to be Chargers winning. Maybe it's going to be Raiders winning. And this is where it teeters. You got to win your divisional games. You have to. You got to at least split at the very minimum and win the rest of your season out. This is going to be an amazing game. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be tough because you can't even give the home team the advantage because they don't
it's
get
the Raiders.
Yeah,
they're going to have more Raider fans than Charger fans. And let's be honest, it's basically the Chargers' apartment. Like, it's not their home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I like what the Raiders have done. Listen, they got a very explosive receiving core, better than the Chargers, hands down. Chargers defense, I feel like is now that they had a second year together, it's going to work better for them this year. I like the Vegas Raiders in this one. I just think that they're going to go into LA and they're going to surprise some people with their offensive line. That's been the biggest question mark of them all off season. I think they're going to do just enough to give enough protection for Carr. Listen, they're a great run blocking offensive line, so that Josh Jacobs not going to be a question. They're going to be able to run the ball. But Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are the guys that you got to make sure that you have eyes on at all times. I don't care if you got to chip them, double team them, whatever you got to do on both sides. Make sure those guys don't impact the game.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out of this thing with no huddle, Joe. If they instantly go after him to try and go speed and like a Josh McDaniels likes to do, just kind of go think and dunk, kind of move it along, then run the ball a little bit, keep kind of getting it and moving it along, keep the pace, control the pace of the game. I think they can wear out this defense. So I think this is going to be a close one. It's going to be tough. Usually I side with the home team on this one. They split games. Like you even say, we got to split at one point here. But I think Josh McDaniels might just bring something a little different to this team that the Chargers, we kind of know what they do with the Austin Eckler and then, the Keenan Allens and Mike Williams. I think they're going to try and keep them on their toes. So I'm going to go with the Vegas Raiders here too as well.
Gotcha. The one thing that I'll say that I think might be the key to this game is how well a new Patrick Graham defense can bottle up this Charger offense. That to me is going to be the key of the game.
Right, but even thinking about the guys they had picked up for that defense too. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue, and they have Chandler Jones too as well. I mean,
they traded Yannick Ngakoue to the Colts to get Rock Ya-Sin.
Rock Ya-Sin. Yep.
So they have corners now. They have Chandler Jones on one side, Max Crosby on the other side, and then who's going to be – my biggest thing is, like, who's going to be that guy that steps up on the interior? Is it going to be Bilal Nichols, the newly acquired from the Bears defensive tackle? Like, is he going to – I haven't seen him play yet. So I'm kind of curious to see how much of a difference can he make. Because, to be honest with you, I would sign Sue right now. I think that puts you over the top.
Yeah.
I think you got the money.
Yeah.
I know you're going to sign Darren Waller. That's going to be done. But – you got to try to work a deal and get Sue. That kind of puts your D-line at one of those most feared D-lines.
Yep. All right, we got two more left here, and we're going to get the hell up out of here. We got Tampa Bay and the Dallas Cowboys here at 8:20 on Sunday Night Football. We're going to get to see probably what that offensive line is going to be able to do. Are they going to be able to hold up? Because, again, I'm not big on the Dallas Cowboy defense, but you know what? That front, you're going to have – maybe we could see DeMarcus Lawrence this year. See what he can do. And then Micah Parsons has been all over the ball. What sucks too is because we had him in our draft when we did our pre-draft that season. Yeah, we had the Giants picking him, and only if the Giants had picked him, that would have been nice. Imagine if we talking about Micah Parsons in a good light of it being for our team. Oh my God, for my team. Oh, that would have been great. But he's been looked really special for them. What they've been able to do in that front of the defense has been good for them. And then not Stephon Diggs. Was it Quadre Diggs? What's his? No, it's freaking whatever.
It's not Quadre?
I think it is Quadre Diggs, right?
The safety.
Yeah, the safety.
Yeah.
He's been opportunistic. I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Tom Brady here. So this is going to be a close one here. But I think I'm like the weapons overall with Tampa Bay. Even their defense is still solid since they went to the Super Bowl last time. They're going to make another push. Even though they're in Dallas, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers still in this one. But I'm interested to see how that center is going to hold up.
Tampa is going through a little bit of a change in terms of personnel. They're starting to bring their youth up. Pierre Paul's no longer there. They got the rookie that they drafted a year ago who's going to take over that DN position. I'm really curious to see him. I like what I see from him. Shiroka, I think his last name is. He looks like he's going to be that next big-time stud for that defensive end spot. And they're actually kind of moving some pieces around that secondary. It's not going to be the same exact that we have seen with Tampa. So some guys are going to be switching to safety, one coming down the corner, nickel corner, what have you. A lot of changes are happening in Tampa. I'm really concerned about the center position still. They're down to their third-string center, who's going to come out in week 1. You better make the right calls, my friend. You better make the right calls, or Brady's going to eat your ass.
It just
You might
sounds
enjoy
uncomfortable.
But
Yes, you can.
I will say this. If this offensive line can step up and prevent pressure coming up the middle, because that's what affects Brady the most. If they can prevent that, then I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on offense is going to be just fine. Cowboys, on the other hand, like you bring up Micah Parsons, they're still using him wrong. He's a D-end, or he's a stand-up rusher. Like, that's what he should be. He cannot cover. They still have him penciled as a linebacker on the outside. If they plan on rushing him every down basically, and rushing him off the edge, standing up, I'm fine with it. But you're using his talents the wrong way if you got him in coverage at all. So put him at the end opposite DeMarcus Lawrence. And to be honest with you, I'd say Micah Parsons has more productivity than DeMarcus Lawrence does. DeMarcus Lawrence to me is way overpaid. He doesn't do much of anything.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that they're weak at D tackle, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this Cowboys defense. And offensively, they're coming into week 1 with a Swiss cheese offensive line. No Tyron Smith, no
Yeah, we don't even
guy.
know is Michael Gallup could be able to play in the game too, or is
He
gonna be
might
limited?
miss the game.
So,
I mean,
it's gonna be big.
this is the thing, is this Cowboys team is not the same Cowboys team that we saw a couple years ago. So I'm going with Tampa on this one.
Trayvon Diggs, that's what his name is again, man. See, I get confused with all the Diggs brothers.
You were talking about Trayvon? I think they have Quandre too.
Do they?
Do they?
Excellent. I don't think so.
Safety?
No.
No? Where'd he go? He went somewhere else.
I forget. Man, I guess I get confused sometimes when you talk
Next
about
game, we
so many of
got
them.
Denver at
Here we go.
Seattle.
The last
this
one,
is
Monday
the
Night
one
Football.
everybody's been waiting for. Monday night.
Oh, man.
Seattle Seahawks.
Well, this is the time. And I think they set up some of these here, too, when they did these schedules. So now, again,
Excuse me.
revenge games some more. Like, now you get to see Seattle versus Russell Wilson. He comes back to Seattle to face the 12th man. So you think the 12th man, they're going to boo Russell Wilson? Do you think everybody's going to boo him there?
It's possible.
You know
He's
what
the
I mean?
enemy now.
He's the enemy now, you would
He's
think,
the enemy.
right? They've got to be able to have a chance to win the game.
To be honest, I will be surprised if they cheer him instead of boo him.
Yeah.
Because that's going to show you like how the fans really felt about him. Like, I think you would cheer him because he did bring you a championship.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
don't boo
Probably
the guy.
cheer him when he comes in, and then maybe later on when he gets
Boo.
sacked, then you'll cheer they get sacked or something. Who knows? But there you go with the Denver Broncos here. Seattle, I mean,
What a
I don't think there's
terrible
much
Monday
to
night
say
game.
about this, but I think this is a good starter game for the Broncos, give them some confidence moving forward. So I'm gonna make it really extra long here. I like the Denver Broncos in this one.
Yeah, Seattle's still rebuilding, doesn't have a real quarterback. Denver wins.
All right, there you go. That's our first week picks. Joe, we're squaring
It's
off.
in the books.
Yeah, we're getting it started
It's in the
again.
books.
So again, loser at the end of the season. The episode
Drinks.
after the Super Bowl is going to be drinking a football-sized liquor drink, man, and it is a whole lot of fun. So make sure you guys stick with us throughout the whole season for that. And all your picks, how did you guys do, too? Also, when we're doing this stuff here, too, I should have brought it up earlier to you guys, but go ahead, lay us down your picks, too, when we're going through. Pick along with us. It's a lot of fun. So that's it. That's our show for tonight. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. Enjoyed everybody sticking around with us and all the comments we had. We really appreciate all that stuff. Like
Thanks,
Joe
guys.
said before, if you haven't yet, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, let you know whenever we go live. Then also follow us on Facebook, our Football on the Know Show page, and our group. Join our group. We're almost up to 900.
We're getting close to 800
members now. 800.
We're 795.
We're getting up there, guys. So bring some more into the family. Let's become some know-it-alls, and let's have a lot of fun this season. So Joe, anything else to say before we take
Appreciate you, Colorize. Appreciate you, Johnstone Supply. Appreciate you, Mohawk Honda. Appreciate you, PPK.
Appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody out there. And we appreciate you guys. And we
Thanks,
will
guys.
see you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday nights for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.